My position good, my camera good.
Yep.
All right, come on to your back. So this baby bear is your chance to be real lazy. This might be just barely rocking your legs side to side. It might be that you're able to let your knees flop open. So that could be a nice position if that feels okay on your legs. So I went from legs kind of close together to knees flopping more towards my armpits. Then I might be able to rock all the way over onto an elbow, or maybe all the way onto my side. So as much as you want to rock today, but this is your release. This is not core strength or stabilization or Pilates. It's floppy, 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 and a chance to notice what you notice. So is anything jumping out at you right now doing this floppy baby bear?
Yeah. My sort of mid-back, upper back is a little tender.
So we'll just check in again at the end, and you can notice if your mid-back, upper back feels any different, because we are going to do a little shoulder and rib focus. Okay, flop over to one side, and we have this side lying thoracic rotation. So your legs can be just about 90, as if you were sitting in a chair that fell over to the side. And then your top arm can reach on the carpet. And then, yep, rolling back onto your back. And there's two ways to do that. One is what you just did with your arm straight. You could also do with a bent elbow. So whatever feels like you're getting more movement in your shoulders. So I'm going to stay on this side. I'm going to call this side number one.
Oh, so don't go all the way.
Yeah, do you want to watch me do the whole thing?
Yeah.
So the first part is reaching my hand, letting my shoulder move. The second part, the back side, is rolling onto my upper back. So that's it. That's the whole thing. So you're going to stay on this side. Let's do 5 now that Rick's here. 1, reachy forward and back. So your legs are kind of staying put. You don't have to glue them in place, but your focus is your upper back. That's 2. Roll your head, massage your mid back. 3. So this is specifically for rib cage, shoulders. We got 2 more on this side. Easy does it. Massaging your shoulders, massaging your upper back, letting your head roll if that feels comfortable. Make this real easy. That's your last one. Now you might just be able to flop all the way to your other side. If you get over there and you came off your mat, you can rearrange yourself if you need to. But now we're on side number 2. Yep. So have your knees bent and feet a little bit in front of you, just so they're not tucked up under your tushy. 5 of these guys, reaching forward and back, letting your spine move. Yeah, this side feels different. I've been working on a tight left shoulder, so this side feels tighter for me. You might notice the top shoulder, the focus shoulder, or you might notice what it feels like to roll on your ribs, on that bottom side, roll on your hips and ribs. Yeah. Okay, it was that 5. I think we did 4 or 5 on both sides. If you didn't do your 5, you could do one more. And then let's come on up. Let's see. Do you have a band handy?
We do.
Yep. Let's play with this.
No, but I have a husband.
Here, I set this out for you, dear.
I was trying to get the band and the
I
husband.
know, but I'm just telling you that I had set out everything for you.
Yes, but I also have a husband.
Thank goodness, because he's arranged everything for you.
Okay, if this feels comfortable, see how I've got my band kind of across my upper back and upper arms? If that doesn't feel comfortable, you can ditch it and ignore my suggestion. So I put my back across my upper back, not on my neck, but on my
around the arms too. Okay.
Yep. Uh-oh, my computer's doing something weird. Sure, everything's shut down. Yep, shut it down. Okay, now we're gonna come to hands and knees. Are you okay on hands and knees like this?
I'm just gonna leave my feet up, my toes up, my heels up.
Oh yeah, you can put something under your ankles if you want. You can prop up your toes, whatever you want to do in this position.
Oh, you went around this arm. Wait, okay, it's just.
So I just put my band on my upper back
Yeah,
and then I'm holding it. And it might take some doing to figure out what's a good resistance, just that it feels snug, but not like it's restricting your movement.
okay.
And then on your exhale, push into the band, round your upper back and look at your belly. This is your angry cat with an upper back focus. And then on your inhale, let your ribs drop down, squeeze your shoulders together, look forward gently. So now you're letting your whole spine drop towards the ground with a shoulder focus. Angry cat, look at the ground. Think of stretching the band across your upper back, like you're trying to bust it in two. And then stretch the other direction. Let your spine drop towards the ground. Let your shoulder blades squeeze together back there behind you. So you can watch me do one of these all the way through, Halle. If you want, on my exhale, I'm pushing my hands into the ground, trying to stretch the band using my upper back. On my inhale, I might have some slack on the band because I'm letting my chest drop through. Yeah, so watch this part, Halle. I'm going to go from my neutral and then draw my chest towards the floor and squeeze my shoulder blades together. Can you see what my upper back is doing from neutral to letting my shoulders kind of cave in towards each other? Yeah. So that's your angry cat, your uppy part.
You're going back, sweetie. Are your shoulder blades coming together?
Oh, like that?
Yeah, you were going
I
back.
just don't want it to snap, I guess.
So Halle, move it down just a smidge so it's not going to snap you in the neck.
Yeah,
And have your band on your shoulder blades or close to your bra strap. So does that make sense going from your rounded upper back? And it's just there to give you a little help. It's not meant to feel like a straight jacket. And then the other direction, letting your shoulder blades squeeze together, pressing your chest through. And does it feel like one of those is easier or harder, the flexion or the extension? Now, go back to what feels like starting to round your back. It's not going to be a totally round back, but you're starting to press your upper back into the band. Push your hands down really hard. Push your head out. Maybe even wiggle your head and neck a little. So your neck is long, like a little turtle coming out of your shell. Stretch your right leg back just enough to straighten your knee with your toes on the ground. So I'll say that again. I've got hands pushing into the ground. Head pushes out. Turtle coming out of your shell. Right leg extends, but your foot is on the ground. And then we'll switch. Bring your right leg in. Stretch your left leg out long. Push your hands. Push your head. Check to see that your toes are on the ground and your knee is straight. So now my left leg is extended. This should feel like work. Drop that knee down. We'll alternate once more each way. Push your back into the band. Stretch your leg and push your foot into the ground. Push your head. So I've got hands pushing down, head pushing, foot pushing. Last round, other side. Okay, did we do some each way, left and right, Marchie?
Yep.
Come on down and rest. What did that feel like to do that, having that resistance of the band around your back?
Feels good.
Good.
It feels like it reminds you of something. It's easy when you put your foot back to kind of slump at the top. This reminds you.
Yeah. Okay, well, keep this little shoulder focus. Come back onto your back, please. And we got our band still. And you can just hold it in a comfortable distance, maybe about shoulder width apart.
I'm trying to go the opposite way from you.
Oh, you are?
Makes it easier to watch her.
Now, remember last time when we were doing puppet arms last month, you could try a couple of those just to get that feeling of shoulder blades heavy, chest relaxed, heavy ribs, heavy pelvis. So feel your head heavy, shoulders heavy, ribs heavy, pelvis heavy. And then let's do bent knees, feet on the floor for this one. Now, does it feel like all those points are contacting the mat and heavy into the mat? Yeah. Now float your arms back. Real easy does it. We're just going to do 4 of these. It doesn't have to be very far. I'm going to stop before I feel pain or tightness in my shoulders. That's 1. And then we'll do 3 more like that. So I've got heavy head, heavy shoulders, heavy rib cage. So if I let my hands come all the way to the ground, my ribs, my personal ribs might pop up. If you guys can keep your ribs heavy while floating your arms back, then you could touch your hands to the ground. But my guess is that, say again?
We're not really pulling on the strap, we're just keeping it kind of taut.
Correct. The action is the overhead arm situation, whilst keeping your ribs heavy, shoulders heavy. Now bring your arms down and gently press your hands into the mat. So now you're going to have your band across the front of your hips. Yeah. So I've got hands on the floor next to my pelvis. Let's do bridging up. I've got a little bit of resistance from the band. So I'm going to push my arms into the ground, push my hips up, long neck. 5 of these guys. Easy does it. Lift and lower your pelvis. So you're giving a little resistance from the band. Come back to that rest position again. Push your head into the ground. Push your shoulders. Heavy ribs, heavy pelvis. Now you could maybe take hands a little wider just to see if this is any different. Float your arms back. So here's how fast I'm going. I'm going to float my arms back by my ears and then back overhead. Heavy shoulders, open sesame across your chest. Arms back by your ears. Heavy rib cage. Notice if your ribs want to pop up or if your head and chin move. And then bring your hands back to the ground, smash them into the ground. And we're back to that bridge. So you've got hands by your hips. So put your hands by your hips and press your hands into the ground. And then you can lift and lower your pelvis. Real easy. Easy does it. Bridging up. Bridging down. Wide collarbones. Heavy shoulders, long neck. Last one. Heavy pelvis, right back to that arm position. So sink your ribs, sink your shoulders, arms float overhead. Easy, real easy does it. Overhead arms and then back to over your chest or your belly button. Heavy head, heavy shoulders, heavy ribs. Good. Last round of your bridge. Hands come down by your pelvis, anchor your band. Bridging up and down. Wide collarbones. Bridging up and down, long neck. Notice what happens to your head and neck as you start to engage your hamstrings, feet, butt, backside of your legs. Last one. Okay, come on down and rest. How did that feel to do your bridge and overhead arms with the band?
Good, I like it.
So we'll keep playing with little variations on that. Now, what do we got? Oh yeah, we're gonna practice doing rows. So we're gonna do rows a couple of different ways, 3 different ways. So come back onto your back. This one, you don't need any gear. And so take your left arm and kind of squeeze it in close. I've got a little bit of space. I've got enough space that I could slide my right hand between my arms and my ribs, but my left fist is in this, my arm is in this 90-degree position. So my arm is close-ish to my body. So it's not out here, but it's pretty close. My shoulder is resting heavy on the mat. And then I'm going to punch my arm straight up as if I had a heavy something that I was trying to punch through. Heavy shoulder. Come up to where your left arm is totally extended. And then follow that same trajectory back to the ground. So I'm going to go pretty slow to make sure my arm is going in the path that I want it to go. My shoulder is heavy. My elbow is at 90, and I'm imagining pushing something heavy up to the ceiling. Halle, watch me do this whole thing once. I've got my arm close to my ribs. I'm going to push my arm straight up to the ceiling with my shoulder heavy. And then I'm going to bring my arm. Now my elbow is straight, my wrist is straight. And then I'm going to drop my elbow in exactly that same path to settle down. So watch me do the whole thing. I'm going to push my arm straight up to the ceiling. And then it comes back the same exact position. Arm close. Yep. Heavy shoulder. Push your arm straight up. So now my arm, my fist is over my elbow, is over my shoulder. All I'm going to do from here is bend my elbow and bring my arm alongside my ribs. Push up to the ceiling. And does it feel like your elbow is staying in pretty close, or does it wander out to the side?
Pretty close.
Good, let's switch sides. Now you can hold that right fist tight. Drop your right elbow so it's in that 90-degree position. So I'm starting with my right shoulder, right elbow on the ground. I'm going to push my arm straight up. Now really imagine that there's something heavy that you're trying to push through and then resist coming down. So I could make this some work. And what I'm watching for is that my shoulder doesn't do any funny business, any caving in, rolling in, as I push my arm straight up to the ceiling. And then follow that same